Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. And there's just so much love behind this movie, Hacksaw Ridge. You're getting ready to watch this as part of the 90-day program. And Jesus has been talking a lot about the psychotherapy pamphlet and how our program with him is psychotherapy, really. And that's to release a desire from the mind to deny God. And in the psychotherapy pamphlet, he says that's the ultimate goal of psychotherapy, is to release all the desire to deny the light within, the light that lights everyone that's born from the mind. And he's given this such a direct means for us to look and release these desires. So this movie is in the 90 Day with Jesus program here at the center. And so there are two participants getting ready to watch that movie. And so I'm interested to hear what he has to say about it in the context of psychotherapy, because we talk in psychology practice, about PTSD, being haunted by memories of going into war. And when you first look at this, you think, this guy is insane. He's really insane. He's going to go to war and he's going to do that without a weapon. Yet this is the fastest way to God, to be defenseless. The ego would defend, the ego would fight, the ego would take guns. Yet this is merely a reflection of all the attack that occurs on a daily basis in the mind, in the play of consciousness that deny divinity. It is constant warfare. So the ego goes, wow, you're going to go to war, like war is something outside, but war is the denial of divinity. The only war is the war within, that there's anything other than infinite light of being, a desire for an experience other than infinite light of being. And Jesus talks a lot about willingness, the willingness to follow him. I will tell you everything, what to do, where to go, what to say. And so the question is, are we willing to step into that trust unequivocally, no questions asked? See, when the experience here, you start working for Jesus, you realize when he gives you an assignment, there is no why. The ego has a why. I'm going to do this because. I'm going to do that because. Now, Jesus has one. It's always the answer to the totality of love, loving itself. The seeming assignment is to undo the ego thought system. When we're following Jesus, we're learning where every desire to deny divinity is in the subconscious mind. He's calling this the redevelopment and the extension of Helen's psychotherapy pamphlet that he dictated, that Jesus is giving a very specific psychotherapy program. And a key part of the psychotherapy program with Jesus is following. And Desmond Doss in this movie is such a spectacular example of being true to following the inner voice, the totality of the light within, and saying no to the ego repeatedly. Because the belief system in the world is that God's will is that we do something. God's will, I'll follow God's will by doing what he tells me, but that is not the purpose of him telling you to do something. He's telling you to do something so that you will see that what you do through the ideas in the mind is a means by which beingness, infinite light, is denied. The light of divine nature is being said no to through the idea that what we do or do not do can win us happiness or lose happiness somehow through the doing of a body, which is all these ideas or concepts in the mind that need to be seen through. So Desmond Doss this movie is one of the most spectacular examples of being consistent about saying no and following and saying actually no to death. that death does not have more value than the infinite light of being given by God. And so he repeatedly follows and continues to follow, and say no to the ego when every reflection in the world is telling him they're trying to throw him out of the army for being insane. And it's important to see that our mission here is not to save bodies. He was not about saving bodies. It seems like that he was about honoring the Lord within, the light of divinity within himself, by continuing using God as his reference, not what was appearing in form as his reference. So when God says, when the ego thought system looks at God's will is to make me do something. No, God's will is what you are. It's the identity to see what's here, right now. His will is happiness. It's only that. There is only happiness. And then there's a play in consciousness that is making a story that something's actually happening that can prove that God is dead. God, the infinite light within, is somehow not available always. The infinite power of being is somehow missing. MIA, missing in action. In the play of consciousness, it seems like someone goes to war and goes MIA. No. The play of consciousness is to have God missing in action in every moment, supreme happiness somewhere be lost out of awareness in this desire to experience something other than infinite. So it seems crazy. It's really insane. This guy's insane to go to war without. Let's do a psychological evaluation on him and see if he's crazy. And that is what the ego wants us to believe, that we're really crazy and insane if we follow that light within unerringly to heal the mind, to heal the desire for an experience other than happiness. And that's the greatest gift that Jesus is giving us. He's saying, if you ask me, I will reveal to you the conditions in the subconscious mind, in your mind, where you're saying no to happiness 24/7. And the importance, this movie really emphasizes the importance that we must follow him, regardless of what it looks like in form, and be true to that following in order for that revelatory experience of what's already here, infinite light of being. We just finally admitted, actually, it's admitting we're beyond bullets flying and the threat that the ego has that the body can die. And Jesus is pointing to life everlasting. Amen. Desmond is pointing to life ever, the value of light over the darkness, the idea of darkness, and just steps into it. So it's a beautiful stepping into the function being into the honoring of the light within, the holiness within. So thank you, Jesus. Just a little talk. We probably have some more out on YouTube if you download our app. I'm pretty sure there's a Hacksaw Ridge talk on there. So if you want to hear more about Hacksaw Ridge, you can watch that as well. Great movie, Hacksaw Ridge. Devotion.